Good afternoon, Clive. As I mentioned in the email, my name's Daniel Warren. Alexander, or as I call him, Sandy Warren, has actually asked me to check you out and check out your internet branding and all your internet side of things. This is just so you know that I know what I'm talking about. This is one of my websites. I have not operated this website for a couple of years because I've progressed from this stage of things. It's actually called serpspro.com.au, and this was a very good income generator. I haven't bothered with it for a couple of years now because, as I said, I've progressed. But we'll get into your website. If you would like to check out to see that I do know what I'm talking about, feel very free. There's a good resource that will show you what I used to do as far as websites and stuff like that's concerned. Looking at your website and checking out your internet presence, for you, I'm very disappointed. You need to hire yourself, one, a PR manager, and two, somebody who knows something about the internet. There's so many fundamental issues wrong with what you're doing, trying to attempt online for what you want to do, which is to get a positive brand out there and get people to hear what you're after. Now, this is your website. It's not bad, don't take me wrong. It's a basic WordPress website. I mean, it's got all the basic things you need, although there is quite a few faults on it. For instance, when you go to, these are just free research tools that I've actually did a quick look because I'm no longer doing it full time. You've got on that front page, you've got 31 errors and you have had 461 warnings. Now, either of these two factors will kill you as far as Google is concerned. Now, with Google to have any success, you have to be on the first page and preferably as high up the page as you can get. Now, either of these two factors there will kill you as far as Google. Then you go into another tool, once again, just a free tool because, I mean, as I said, you don't waste money for things you don't do anymore. Your basics is you've got 71%. Now, Google is not going to look at you unless you're in the top 90%. You've got 10 major issues on your website front page, and you've got 13 improvements. Yes, as I said, it's not a bad website. This would never earn you money if you were trying to get ROI out of your business. Looking down here, now these are when your website actually starts to show. Now, internet these days, if you're not below 3 seconds, Google won't even rank you. That doesn't even come into the picture. Really, you want to be around 1 to 2 seconds speed to get your website up. Now, the very first thing that actually shows on your website takes 3 seconds. Before it even starts to render, you're looking at 7 seconds. And before your website is fully loaded, you're looking at nearly 10 seconds. It's not going to show. You're way far behind your 8 ball. You're not going to get anywhere. When you look at just a basic keyword I pulled out of there, you should be aiming for one of these keywords, and this should be one of your top. Now, the keyword I've used is just Australian politics, which should be very basic for you. Now, on this page, you do not show anywhere on the first page. There is absolutely nothing concerning the United Australian Party or Clive Palmer. If you go on to page 2, which actually, page 1 gets about 90% of the showings on Google. Page 2 and page 3 pick up the next 10%. You have a paid ad somewhere on page 2 here. I seen it the other day, right down near the bottom somewhere it was. Where's United Party? Actually, I can't even see it here now. But it was actually a paid advert. And no, it's not even shown on there now. So it's even been pushed further back to page 3, I would say. Now, you are paying money for this ad, and it's not getting seen. Nobody ever comes to page 3. The only time you go past page 1 is if you are specifically looking for some item. So this advert here is, you may as well pull your cigarette lighter out and just burn that money that you've paid Google for this ad, because nobody's ever going to see it. It just doesn't happen. Sorry to tell you, you're wasting your money on that one. In truth, I consider you wasting your money totally online. If I look at your YouTube presence, now your website itself it's the bowl. Okay, that's where the eyes will all be directed. But YouTube and social media is where you get the people looking into the bowl, right? Now, looking at YouTube, your YouTube channel, you've had 3 million odd views. Don't forget, we have a population of something like 22 or 23 million in Australia. So you haven't even had 10, well, you've had 10%, which I suppose is not too bad, really, when you consider it. I don't know how long you've been going this. But when you look at your captions, nothing on YouTube has been optimized for the web. For example, as I said, your captions. Oh, come on, where are you? Your captions here are all in English. They're all done by YouTube's artificial intelligence, which means that you got a robot that's actually transcribing the speech into words. It takes no consideration of spelling or pronunciation issues. It is just a robot correcting your spelling. For instance, you would have pole spelt P-O-L-E instead of the way you would spell it in this situation, P-O-L-L. Google will knock you back for bad grammar and things like that. So what you have here on YouTube, besides not actually being optimized for the web, what it is actually doing, it's pulling you back. Now, you've had some reasonably decent views on things. I presume you're paying a lot of these you're paying ads to see them. I don't think, from what I could see, that any of these have been live streamed. If they're live streamed, you would be multiplied by at least 5 to 10. Also, when I've gone through and looked at the critiques on Clive Palmer, besides, being typical public media propaganda garbage, you've missed a lot of opportunities in controversy and biting back. That's where I think you need a PR manager or somebody who knows something more about that side of the media. I mean, there's stuff in here that your opposition has used against you that really you could have thrown right back in their face and given them a damn good kick in the backside for. But your YouTube channel, it's performing at what I would think maybe 10 to 15% of its capability. Then I stepped into Facebook, and it's the same basic story, very little different. There's a lot of little errors going on. Once again, live streaming, your captions and stuff like that. Here it is. Now, once again, it's also the same videos that are showing across all channels, which is no big deal, but you should be maximizing where you lead them from and take them from. Also, you've very minimal on network distribution channels, which is social media. You've got Facebook and you've got YouTube and you've got a bit on Twitter. That's basically it. distribution channels is what generates a lot of your backlinks. Backlinks is what drives the power to your web presence. Now, once I said again, nothing's been optimized for the web. You've got a lot of stuff, but it's not targeted. It just hasn't got, how to put it, that it doesn't have the pizzazz. It's you talking, you telling your ideas, but not in a way that the average reader is going to actually start listening to. Don't forget, you have 3 to 7 seconds to get their attention. After 7 seconds is up, unless they really want to listen to you, they're gone. That's your social media side of it. It needs a lot of work. Both YouTube and Facebook were the main ones I could find concerning yourself, and both of them were very below substandard for actually generating income. Now, you're not targeting income, you're targeting eyes on and people listening to what you have to say, which is basically easier than generating income. To get ROI, you need to get them to look at your product or your service and, take it from there. And then you're trying to sell them something. You're not actually trying to sell them anything except to actually vote for you. That's a major big difference between the two. It should make it a damn sight easier. Now, going back to your website, one of the main things, as I said, this is just a basic WordPress website. It's not bad, as I said, but it's nothing fantastic. But if you compare this website, which is targeting Australia, it doesn't have a distribution network except for YouTube, social and Facebook and Twitter. And then you compare this, which, you're trying to do a lot bigger things and make a basic income online, right? Now, this website that I set up and built a couple of years ago, this was only for generating income. And yes, it did very well, but it was very work intensive. That's why I actually stopped doing it. But when I look at distribution channels, when we talk about, this website has been set up with 8 separate websites pointing back to the main website. As you see, and this is something I'd do similar to your own if I was you, is you have, say, the Australian Capital Territory is a separate sub-website, which is this one here. You've got to excuse the internet. I live in the country, and when you've got so many browser windows open, it always slows down. But as you can see up the top here, Australian Capital Territory, it's still connected to the main website, but I can now build a totally separate distribution channel around this website. And it is actually targeted to a local area like the Australian Capital Territory. Now, if I went into YouTube on this, and Facebook and the other distribution networks, I can actually bring that targeting down to local communities, like suburbs, where you have, you're targeting different areas for you to get your people to come into. You should be actually, every one of them should have their own little separate page on a separate website, like anybody in the Australian Capital Territory or Tasmania or New South Wales. All the people who are working to join your party should have their own separate page and information section. But each one of these states, all the networking that they have should feed back to your main website. And each one of these websites, every single one of them, should have between 6 to 12 distribution channels. And every time you publish anything on any of your websites, you publish it across those distribution channels. So what you're actually doing is you're creating a pyramid effect of backlinks, all from these singular websites, forcing this website up in Google. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of time, and it's not cheap, but it has an enormous amount of power when used correctly. Now, as I said, I haven't been doing this for a couple of years because it's very work intensified. The problem with this sort of issue is that technology changes every day of the week, and Google changes their algorithms and their things that they do every day of the week. Now, the problem I found is that with all the changes, you get an expert who's, he's up to date today. That's it. Most university people, most people they've found do a course or finish a degree or whatever, they never read another book. The internet is exactly the same. People get their skill up and then they don't continue to maintain that skill level, so they fall behind. Now, the work that's involved in getting to top ranking on Google and mastering the internet, as I said, it's phenomenal. I've actually been involved in this stuff for probably 10 and a half, 11 years now. Doing SEO, which is basically what you're talking about. You're not trying to increase ROI particularly, but you are wanting to increase your visibility and you are trying to expand your target base. That's what this is all about. Now, as I said, I've been doing this for 10 and a half years. I do know what I'm talking about. I'm not up to date as I should be if I was going back into this industry. But when I look at compared to what this is, and this is a website that I haven't even opened this website for probably 2.5 years. I'm still getting customers from it. I'm still earning an income from it. When I compare this to this, well, I don't have to say it, Clive. You would see it yourself. There's no comparison. The money you are throwing away on your advertising on the internet and your people who are looking after your internet, go give your money to charity, mate. It's going to do a lot more good because this is not helping you. Now, as I said, I've got out of doing that. I still work online. I still keep abreast because of other purposes that I'm doing. I actually do have a political agenda myself, but it's targeted at the family unit, not as a specific singular thing, and it's targeted worldwide. Now, my new current website is awiseparent.com. This is what I'm currently working on. It's not complete yet, but it's a different position entirely from doing SEO works. If it ever comes up. It's getting there. One day soon. What I would suggest you do, Clive, though, is you need to get a PR manager to give you some basic ideas and help you to script your work so it's going to have the most punch. What I've looked at so far on your website and your web presence, it doesn't have any punch, and it's not doing what you want it to do. Now, Sandy tells me that you are doing a lot of advertising on TV. Personally, I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV or read a newspaper for probably 25, 30 years. I think that, public media, the third estate, is a total load of crap. They lost any value they had years ago. Your typical viewer, to get attention on advertising, you have to have your punchline between 3 to 7 seconds into your story. You have the average television media, you have 15 or a 30-second slot on the average. People don't hear your message, they don't see your message, nobody listens to it. Television is for entertainment. That's the only value it has. What I would be using your television and public media channels for would be to target and direct traffic to your websites or to your social media platforms. 80% at least of average typical Australians use Facebook or YouTube or Instagram at least once a day. That is where your traffic is, that is where the people are. But you've got to be able to hit them with your story in, I said that, 3 to 5, 7 seconds. You're missing it badly. And basically you're wasting what money that you are spending on the internet at this present time. If I can give you any further advice or give you any help, feel free. My telephone number is 04 27 08 6569. I will put the phone number in the email that I'm answering, and it's up to you. I do wish you very well. I do like your policies, although they seem to be more economical and employment targeted, where my own personal thing is, as I said, family and children. Because personally, I think no matter what you do with the economics, we're up deep shit with economics anyway. I'm looking at a depression in the next 5 to 10 years, which is going to be crippling. All the experts are saying this. And I mean, it's a very dismal future for any child, and that's what my interest is concerning. I bid you good day, Clive. And as I said, if I can help you, feel free. No worries. Talk to you, possibly. Catch ya.